Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had a disappointing day last Sunday during the All-Star race. After qualifying in a promising position on Saturday, he was set to make some moves and work his way through the field. However, his race came to a stop at the second lap when he was hit by a retaliating Kyle Busch in the number 8 car. But Stenhouse Jr. has answered back off the track and has vowed to do it on the track as well. And we vow to provide you with the latest news on NASCAR. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button below the video. We don't want you to miss out on the action. During the 2024 All-Star race in North Wilkesboro, Stenhouse Jr. was starting right behind Kyle Busch. As the race started, Busch went a bit wide on the first corner of the race. This allowed Ricky to go down the middle to get past Busch, but in doing so banged doors with Busch and slightly squeezed him into the wall. Although Busch did not have much damage to his car, he was furious behind the wheel. Coming out of the second corner of the race, he ran straight into Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car and sent him into the wall and out of the race. Following this, Stenhouse Jr. was able to make it into the pits, but he didn't park it in his spot. Instead, he decided to make a statement by parking it right on Kyle Busch's spot in pit road. He then marched towards Busch's crew chief, Randall Burnett, to have a short conversation. After he made his way back to the media pen, he explained what he said to Randall. "I parked it there because I figured Kyle would do something similar," Stenhouse told reporters after his day ended. "I told Randall that you can tell Kyle that I'll see him afterward over the radio. Since there's no tunnel here, I can't leave. So I'll be here when the race is over." As he promised, Stenhouse was waiting outside Kyle Busch's hauler for a heated conversation. Although we couldn't hear much of what was said due to the fireworks in the background celebrating Joey Logano's race win, we were able to make out Ricky saying, "You hit the fence yourself. I didn't touch you. You hit the fence, and then you hit me." As they continued to argue, Busch refused to take any responsibility for the incident. This triggered Stenhouse to say, "Go back and watch it," before throwing the first punch. This initiated a huge brawl, which got even Stenhouse Sr. involved. Ricky Jr. first landed a couple of punches and threw Busch to the floor. It was then that Ricky's father jumped on Busch to land a couple of punches himself. But a few seconds later, the mechanics got involved and separated the two drivers and their allies. But before Stenhouse left the area, he shouted, "I'm going to wreck you at Charlotte." Busch shouted back, "Bring it. I suck as bad as you." Although Busch did respond to Stenhouse's threat, it's a pretty weird thing to say after a fight. Sometimes it's better to say nothing than say something sad or humiliating. This was probably one of those moments. But Stenhouse's threat was very clear. He'll be looking to wreck Busch's race in Charlotte. Busch will be keeping an eye out for Stenhouse Jr. during the coming weekend at the Coke 600 race in Charlotte. The Charlotte Motor Speedway is one of the most iconic tracks in NASCAR. The Coke 600 is also the longest race on the NASCAR calendar. So if Stenhouse managed to wreck Busch's race in Charlotte, there could be some heavy consequences. After the fights, Stenhouse went to speak to the media where he said, "I feel like Kyle and I have always raced each other really hard back to the Nationwide Series, when we were first competing for wins week in and week out." Stenhouse explained, "Never had any issues. Then, I wrecked him one time at Daytona, and he's been kind of bad-mouthing me ever since then. I feel like we get along with each other okay outside the racetrack. I talk to him quite a bit. I'm not sure why he was so mad. I shoved it 3 wide, but he hit the fence and kind of came off the wall and ran into me. I don't know, when I was talking to him, he kept saying that I wrecked him. So definitely built up frustration with how he runs his mouth all the time about myself. But I know he's frustrated because he doesn't run as well as he used to. I understand that. We're a single car team over here. We're working really hard to go out and get better each and every weekend. We had a really good game plan coming in. Our car was really strong. Friday in practice, I was looking forward to running to the front. I think we'd pass a couple of cars there. I was excited for the rest of the night, and he ruined it. Being stuck in here definitely doesn't help the frustration. If there was a tunnel, I'd have probably been at home watching the end of that, so here we are." As for what's next, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is happy with the fight. "I don't have anything else for him. If we want to do a charity match, I would do that. Raise some money maybe for the NASCAR Foundation or something. That'd be fun. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot for him." Stenhouse got triggered when Busch refused to take responsibility for the accident. Although Stenhouse did slightly squeeze the number 8 car into the wall, Kyle did not have to retaliate the way he did. A slight door bang or a nudge would have been sufficient. Instead, he completely took Stenhouse out of the race. The day after the race, Stenhouse took part in a podcast where he went on to talk about his dad getting involved in the fight. "Dad likes to fight," Stenhouse said. "Dirt racer from back home. I saw him and I was just making sure everybody wasn't gonna pummel him or each other. And it looked like all the crew guys were grabbing each other, him included. Just grabbing each other." It must have been satisfying for Stenhouse Sr. after landing a few punches on Kyle Busch. It's no secret that Busch is not the most liked driver on the NASCAR grid. He has come out to be a bit aggressive at times, but this time he was not the one who threw the first punch. Instead, it was Stenhouse Jr., after which his dad got involved. Stenhouse Jr. grew up around racing and dirt. His father, Ricky Stenhouse Sr., was a dirt bike racer. This is how Ricky Jr. was introduced to the world of motorsport, but it seems as though Jr. has also acquired his father's temper levels. Both Stenhouse Jr. and Kyle Busch are yet to qualify for the playoffs. They're both having poor seasons this year. We're currently at the halfway mark at the moment, and both drivers will be hoping to turn things around now. But if they're still battling each other for the rest of the season, they might not be able to focus on getting that W before the playoffs. Here's what Busch had to say about the incident with Stenhouse at the All-Star race. "It's the first lap of the race. We don't even have water temp in the car yet. And we're wrecking each other off of turn 2, Busch said. "I'm tired of getting run over by everybody, but that's what everybody does. Everybody runs over everybody to pass everybody." Busch was frustrated that Stenhouse went for a risky move on the very first lap of the race. While it was risky, as mentioned before, Busch did not have to retaliate the way he did. He was actually lucky that more cars were not involved in that crash that saw the number 47 car out of the race. If that was the case, the fight would have been even larger with more drivers getting involved. Heading to Charlotte, both Busch and Stenhouse will be looking to get that win, but at the same time, we'll keep an eye out for each other. Given Ricky's threats after the fight, there's a strong chance we could see more fists flying at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. While the drama played out between these two drivers, Joey Logano went on to win the All-Star race after a dominant performance. The win meant even more for him as it was his first race victory of the year and Ford's second win of the year. However, the win doesn't mean that Logano has secured his spot in the playoffs, as the All-Star race is not a part of the regular season. Instead, it's an independent event. Do you think we'll see some action between Kyle Busch and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. during the race in Charlotte? Also, do you think either of these drivers will be able to qualify for the playoffs this year? Post your thoughts in the comments section below.